Today I'm comparing the Insta360 GO Ultra versus DJI Osmo Action 4. I'm gonna do a whole bunch of side-by-side comparisons and let you guys decide which one is better for you. Also, if you wait until the end of the video, I'm gonna give you my thoughts on that just as well. So let's start comparing. And now last week when I was here, the weather was really so much better. So here's some footage from that time. And that was actually the first time that I was testing the Insta360 GO Ultra. And I have to say that I was really impressed with the whole color rendering. But anyway, here we are on a cloudy day. So at first glance, you can say that these two cameras look pretty much identical, and they kind of are. They're both action cameras. However, the GO Ultra has this really wonderful feature where, well, this is actually the camera, and this is the action pod, which is like an extra battery and a full-on display, and you can control this remotely with this, which is a really big thing. And since this is magnetic, you can pretty much attach it to anything. So if you have a washer and a bit of tape, you can attach this to anything that you can possibly imagine because it's magnetic. And of course you have that tilt-up screen from the Ace Pro and Ace Pro 2, which again is something that I'm really missing on typical action cameras. Because if you want to get those low-down shots, you have to really crouch down to see the screen. Here, I mean, I can just do it like this, and I can see what I'm recording from up top. So in terms of practicality, I would say that this much better than this. Okay, so both cameras, 4K 25 frames per second, 16:9 aspect ratio. Here I have the mega view and here is the wide view, and well, you have a comparison here. Of course, on the Osmo Action 4 I'm shooting with D-Log M and manually color grading. Here I'm using standard colors. And this is how this looks in a forest scene with a lot of contrast. So the stabilizer, you've already seen Alex run with both cameras. He had the GO Ultra on his forehead, and this one, so the Action 4 in his hand. And well, this is how the stabilization looks if you want to do vlogging. Okay, that's not gonna work. This is completely waterproof, and only the little camera here is waterproof to that 33 feet, so 10 meters. I think this one's also 10 meters. I mean, I never dive that far, but the action pod is only splash resistant, so if you get into rain, maybe it's gonna be okay, but you don't want to swim underwater with this whole camera. Whereas here, well, not a big issue. And since we are in the topic of underwater recording, the Action 4 has a flat lens in front, so a flat lens cover, where here you have a curved lens, which means that this is going to distort the image and it's going to make it blurry if you're recording underwater. So you have to get like an underwater extra lens cover, which is flat. It is a little bit bigger, but with that you can then get clear images if you're scuba diving or doing anything underwater. So both cameras feature this magnetic mount, the quick release, which is actually something that action cameras must have nowadays. You don't want to always thumb screw this on and off. You just basically detach the camera with a quick release, and you can have many of these on different accessories, and then you just switch the camera from one place to another. However, here with the Insta GO Ultra, you have this extra kind of latchy system for this extra possibility of attaching the camera. And in this case, you can actually attach the small camera straight onto this. So it has a magnetic and a mechanical lock. So technically you could just have this for vlogging, which is, by the way, the smallest vlogging camera I've ever seen. And it does have its own microphone here and a button. If you press it somewhere over here, you press it once, it starts recording the video with the settings that you've preset, and if you press it twice, you will take a photo with the settings that you've preset. And then once you stop recording, the camera shuts off, which is really cool. And you probably noticed that for the DJI, I'm actually using the GoPro 3-way head, so like this. And of course, the cool thing with all action cameras is that the thumb screw system is standardized, so you can use accessories from all different companies. I can mount my DJI Osmo Action 4 to all of my Insta360 accessories because this is standardized, and of course all the GoPro and so on. Now when it comes to shooting modes, this also has an advantage because it's 4K up to 120 frames per second, whereas the Go Ultra only goes up to 60 frames because the camera is so teeny tiny small. Personally, I find that 4K 60 is enough for most, slow motion shots, except if you want to go really deeply slow motion, then yeah, you probably need that. Of course, if you shift down to 2.7K on the Go Ultra, you get that 120 frames per second. Now, what about the downsides of this camera? Well, I think the biggest downside compared to the Go Ultra would be the fact that the screen is fixed in the back. I cannot record my videos from up top. I always have to crouch down. You can connect this to your smartphone and get, the remote viewing through the app, but it's just so much easier if you have that tilt-up screen. On the other side, the Go Ultra's downside is the fact that it only records 8-bit colors. To some people, to me, that's kind of an important thing. It's not a deal breaker, but yeah, I mean, if you want a color match, you should have 10 bits and a bit of a log picture profile. When it comes to menu systems, I think that both cameras have about the same flexibility, the same usability, practicality. I don't prefer one menu system over another. I think both user interfaces are equally good and you get used to them really fast. Even if you're a DJI user, you adopt the Insta360 menus also very quickly, or the other way around. So all these camera companies have done a really good job of making things simple, like one touch click and everything is ready. So yeah, no benefits on either side. Both of them amazing. This is the internal audio of the DJI Action 4. I think the camera does a really good job of capturing audio straight from the camera as long as it's not windy. And this is the audio from the Go Ultra. Again, voice enhanced, everything done in camera, really good audio quality pickup straight from the camera. Personally, I think modern day action cameras have a really good audio capturing microphone capabilities. Both cameras have the option to use external microphones. The Insta's Air microphone is really teeny tiny, and I find this to be a much better form compared to DJI's external microphone. This is the Mic 2, but this one has internal recording, so you can press a record button here and all the audio gets recorded separately here, and it's a 32-bit float audio, which is a high dynamic range audio, so you can whisper, you can yell, and everything will be picked up with this microphone. However, here this one is just small. They both have magnets to attach and latches to clip it on, but a whole magnet system underneath is a really neat thing. As I said, I prefer the Insta's Air. It's a lot smaller. It's like a button. And this is how the two microphones sound from my chest. So this is the DJI Mic 2 connected to my Osmo Action 4, and this is the Mic Air connected to my Insta360 GO Ultra. So this is the sound comparison, completely unedited, straight from the microphone. Both cameras feature a quick recording function, so start, and this is how long it takes for the camera to turn on and start recording. You can see that the Osmo Action has a bit of an edge here, about 3 seconds faster. Now, to me, the whole quick start speed isn't that big of a deal, but if you are somebody who needs to quickly start the camera and start recording, this one will take a bit longer, and I think it's because it has this kind of dual modular thing, and it takes a bit of time to communicate and to fire up the pod and the camera, both of them, so not just one camera. So yeah, if you need a really quick startup camera, then this one is better compared to the Go Ultra. And that's it. That's the whole comparison of these two cameras. You guys decide which one is better for you, and let me know down in the comments because I'm really interested. Personally, yeah, I'm kind of in between. The modular shape of this camera and the tilt-up screen is a bit of a selling point for me personally, but 10 bits D-Log M, yeah, somewhere in between. Let me know down below. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and hit the like button for the algorithm. That really helps. And if you want to stay on the channel, then watch one of these two videos. Thank you, and I'll see you in one of these two. Bye bye.